I read from an editor called Hayden Hillier Smith. If your audience feels the same at the start of your video and at the end of the video, then you have failed at your job as a content creator. And every video, my goal was to have 100 views. That was it. Because if I closed my eyes and imagined 100 people in a room listening to me, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I want to be able to teach that, and I proved that it works.
Yeah.
So I did it. I made 3 videos. Within 3 videos, I got 10,000 followers. People are still following me because of that video. And a big learning journey for me is finding out what content I liked making, but also combining it with what people liked watching. For example, Taiwanese people absolutely love watching food videos.
Yeah.
And I absolutely hate making them.
People love to line up for their food. Like that's also, I don't know if that's something that you've noticed, that people will go to the extremes for food here in Taiwan. Welcome back again to FUNDAY Chat. I am Wade, your host, and we are on the second episode with James. James has just shared it with us about his parenting, content, talking about the daughter, father, and what it looks like maybe to have, in a world of social media, what does it look like to have privacy, but also just a lot of insights when it comes to parenting. So if you haven't seen that episode, be sure to check that out. But on this episode, and we sort of touched on it a little bit last episode, we want to talk about content. Obviously, tons of people, and 10, 20 years ago, content creation wasn't even a job. It wasn't even a thing. Yeah. Now it's everywhere. It's part of our lives. And so today, with your expertise, we'd like to dive a little deeper into what that looks like. And so welcome back to FUNDAY Chat, James.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us again, just a brief background, and how does content relate to your work and field?
Sure. So my name is James. I'm from the UK. My dad is from Hong Kong. I moved to Taiwan to teach and to learn Mandarin. And the reason I started making content actually is because I wanted to share my story of learning Mandarin as someone with a hearing disability. So this actually started as I was approaching book 4 in Shida. For those who don't know, each semester is 1 book or 1 or 2 books.
I see.
So by the end of book 4, I was like at a level where I was like, I can, somewhat speak Mandarin now. Yeah. And I wanted to get onto one of these Taiwanese TV shows speaking Mandarin.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, I feel like my story should be told.
Yeah.
I want to share it a little bit. I want to inspire people. I was born 11 weeks premature. Which is almost 3 months, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, wow.
And my parents weren't even sure if I would be able to speak English. Thought, I was going to have the life of a hard of hearing or deaf person. And that ended up not being the case with speech therapy and mainstreaming at school. So learning Mandarin for me not only has like a cultural link with my dad being from Hong Kong, but it's also been like a personal challenge that I faced and overcame, and still having issues with it, but not giving up. And in a world where people give up too easily, I believe, I saw classmates with absolute perfect hearing giving up after 3 months. I was very happy to push through and get to an okay level of Mandarin. And so I was trying to get on these TV shows, and no one was having me. And I was like, what's going on? Like, this story is worth telling. And I was like, screw it. I'm going to make my own TV show. And that was the reason I clicked on YouTube and clicked start a new channel. Now, prior to this, I'd had like bits and pieces on YouTube because I used to do parkour and free running. And it's a big part of the free run community, especially as a newer sport, to share it on social media. It's probably one of the, I think at the time it was the most searched thing on YouTube. But that was very different from making content now. Back then it was like a music video almost. You find a song, you cut to the beat, and you put in all the cool flips and jumps. So my very first video on YouTube, which was back in 2019 or something like that, I don't remember when, I thought it was like, God's gift to earth. I thought it was absolutely amazing. This guy was so inspiring on camera and everything. And I took this clip and I sent it to all the news outlets in Taiwan. I sent it to all like the Mandarin learning websites. Out of like the 10 people I sent it to, 1 replied. And they replied saying, well done on your success. Thank you. And that was it, right? It was a nice, polite way of saying, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Story,
Thanks for sharing.
And I was like, damn, like, what, this is weird, but I'll just keep doing it. Looking back at that video, it was awful. It was terrible. And so for anyone that's made content, the first thing you make is going to be the worst thing you make. And that's absolutely fine. The first time you go to the gym, you don't know how the machines work.
Yeah.
The first time you try to draw, it doesn't look like Picasso.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you try and bake a cake, whatnot. Okay. This is the repetitions and whatnot. So from there, I just explored making different kinds of content. I made the type of content where I would compare the different Taiwan beers. You've got the Jim Pai and you've got the 21 days and whatnot. We did blind testing, drinking it and seeing which one tastes the best. I took British food from the UK and brought it to Taiwan and tested it. I basically did everything just for fun. I showed you how to learn Chinese using Netflix.
Yeah.
And I was just enjoying myself.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just try different things and see what happens and maybe we'll get a few views. And every video, my goal was to have 100 views.
Okay.
That was it. Because if I closed my eyes and imagined 100 people in a room listening to me, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think also people just see the success now. They don't see the hard work that went into it. If you have a favorite YouTuber, filter it by oldest and watch their first video. It is terrible. I promise you it was terrible.
Yeah.
It might have a lot of views. That's just because other people have gone back and looked at it. Mr. Beast and Marcus Brownlee, I think both of them two have videos from when they were like kids.
Yeah.
And you can see the grind and effort they put in.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen Mr. Beast? Actually, he had his 10-year
he reposted one of his videos.
So I think 10 years ago at a specific date, he said he's talking to his future self. And it was absolutely crazy to witness him at that point saying, listen, you better have 1 million views, man. You better have, and I think he had 8,000 or 80,000 followers or whatever. And he's like, you better make 1 million. You better make 1 million. And he's like, it's crazy. What if I'm dead? He's just spitballing and not realizing 10 years later, he is the biggest YouTuber and biggest.
He manifested it. 100%.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah.
So for me, it just started from there and just slowly building it up. And a big learning journey for me is finding out what content I liked making, but also combining it with what people liked watching.
Okay.
For example, Taiwanese people absolutely love watching food videos.
Yeah.
And I absolutely hate making them.
People love to line up for their food. That's also, I don't know if that's something that you've noticed, that people will go to the extremes for food here in Taiwan. Because when people line up, I'm like, there's a restaurant right 2 minutes away and it's empty. And they're like, no, but this is the one that everyone is lining up.
And this has a line.
And they take food very seriously. So
it is, yeah. But for me, when I'm filming videos of sharing food with other people and everyone's talking at the same time, I'm like, this is a nightmare to edit. I don't want to do this. Since then, I fell in love with the creative side of content creation. And I've been creating ever since. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So you said you started, your first piece was in 2019. So that's what, 5 years ago?
Something like that.
5-6 years ago. And so how has maybe content creation morphed in the past few years since you started to what you're doing now?
So when I started, there was no shorts.
Right.
I don't think there was even TikTok. There might have been ByteDance in China, Douyin, but not TikTok here.
Yeah, not the algorithm that's crazy short form, hook in 3 seconds.
Yes, yeah. I mean, back then, the hook was the thumbnail and the title. And then if people clicked on it, there's a level of commitment already. They're willing to stick around for maybe a minute or so. The way I like to describe it is, if you're watching TV, it's very easy for you to change channel.
Yes.
So that's like TikTok these days. Yeah. But if you go to a cinema, even if the first 10 minutes of the movie is boring, you're going to stick around because you made a commitment to go there. And that's what, YouTube long form is like.
Right.
You've made a commitment to click based on, the trailer, for example. So people will stick around a bit longer. But it's also the days of spending 15 hours a week on a single video. And sometimes watching them succeed and sometimes just watching them horribly fail. And that was such a mental toll back then. And I think one of the best changes because of the whole short form, long form is short form can be very rough and ready. It doesn't have to have this perfect edge or anything like it. Can just be, what's up guys, today I'm here, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. Hit post, add some captions, post.
Right.
And if that fails, oh well.
Yeah.
That took me like 5 minutes of my life all night.
Yeah.
If it blows up, amazing. That only took me 5 minutes.
Right.
So not only has this allowed a lot more people to be content creators, but it's also taken some of that mental toll of people that were creators who are sinking hours of time into these long form videos that just aren't getting any traction.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk more about like what's your content about and what you have been making. Because obviously in the last episode we touched on, you were doing parent content where you were, talking about parenting with your child, and that obviously gained some traction and you slowly shifted away from that. But what sort of content do you actually make?
I make anything. Anything that interests me. If there's a new format that comes out or a new trend, I'm just like, let's just try it because I want to see how it works.
Yeah.
The main reason I do content is to teach it.
Interesting.
So if I can understand how it works, I can teach it better.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in doing what you teach. I think there's a lot of people out there who are saying do this.
Experts.
Yeah. And I go on their profile, I'm like, you don't have any evidence that you can do this thing. And I feel a lot of social media agencies are like that as well. A lot of social media managers, they don't make content. They have like a private account. And I'm like, you're meant to be an expert at this. Like, how can you be teaching or like doing this if you're not doing it yourself? So that's a personal belief. So I started off making content about how I learned Chinese. I think that was the big story that I wanted to tell. I sort of fell into the views a bit more, and I realized if I talked about Taiwan, Taiwanese people absolutely love it.
Love it.
And so the first video I realized was about talking about COVID-19 during COVID in Taiwan. And it's got like way more views. I think that was my first video to get 100,000 views.
Yeah.
So then I kind of like started making more and more videos about Taiwan. 5 things I love about Taiwan, ways that Taiwan have changed me. 5 reasons not to come to Taiwan. I was doing all these very controversial topics. But I was talking, directly from my experience.
Yes.
So I enjoyed that for a while. And slowly burnt out on that because there's only so many things I can talk about. I could repeat myself, and that's what the successful YouTubers do. They can, repeat the formula and be happy with it. And I could have done that. I was getting the sponsorships here and I was getting money from views, but I wasn't enjoying the process. So then I slowly shifted over to short form TikTok. And it was actually during COVID I did that. I just set myself a challenge while I was in quarantine just to make a video every day. And I did, and I spoke only Chinese in those videos, which made subtitles a lot easier. I didn't need to translate. And then I was making all these random videos, and I had my daughter, and then it shifted more to father content. And I stopped wanting to make so much content about her. So I just shifted to other aspects in my life. Right now, it doesn't really follow a clear theme. It's just, my channel's called James Wong Life. And it's great because it means I can just make anything, and the channel name still fits. Most recent sort of viral video I made was picking up a piece of rubbish every day for every follower I gain until I reach 30,000 followers. And the reason I made that video is because I was on 29.4 thousand followers for a while, and it really annoyed me that I couldn't tell people I had 30K. So I was like, okay, I know this format works. The rubbish around Taiwan is really annoying me, especially around my house. There's a lot of construction workers. And I was like, I've seen this trend being done, doing ads for every day until ads, right? So I was like, I want to be able to teach that, and I proved that it works. So I did it. I made 3 videos. Within 3 videos, I got 10,000 followers. People are still following me because of that video. Even though the video says until 30,000 views. You go on my channel, I have now, 30,000 followers. You go on my channel now, I have 40,000 followers. So people actually...
It's like, where the trash dude at?
People don't care anymore. They're just happy to see me doing something positive. I think especially when you get like a foreigner coming to Taiwan doing something that typically wouldn't be done by even a local. It sparks emotions. And a great quote I read from an editor called Hayden Hayden Hillier Smith. If your audience feels the same at the start of your video and at the end of the video, then you have failed as your job as a content creator. You need to invoke some sort of change in emotion. It's happiness, sadness, anger, shame, cringe, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you invoke some sort of change in emotion, you will get views.
Yeah, that's a good formula.
And that completely works, because if you watch a video that you're like, this is boring, I want to swipe, that's because you're not experiencing anything.
Yeah.
So in that video, I was able to, make a lot of people really happy. I was picking up rubbish. Yeah. They saw it as a challenge. They saw it as a way that they could support me. Oh, I hit follow and you picked up another piece of rubbish.
Yeah.
That's an easy thing for me to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I just like experimenting and trying different things to work. I've done talking head videos. I've done interviews. I've done food videos. I've done podcast, challenge videos. I've done, you name it. I've probably tried it at some point just to see if it works, just to see if I enjoy it. And more importantly, to be able to show other people, I can teach you this. This is the example that I've done.
Yes.
Now you go and try it.
Yeah, no, that's good. And well, so you mentioned earlier too that there is a balance, and I'm wondering, how do we strike that balance when it comes to creating content? Because one, I think I probably lean on the side of, I make content, but I really do it for my personal, like memory's sake, documenting. And of course, you take into account like, what might be a good hook, what might be something that somebody else might want to watch. But for the most part, like, I think it's still coming from my own, motive and my creating for me as the target audience, I guess. But how do you balance creating content for the viewers too? Because sometimes if it's the opposite extreme, it can then be for, I'm only doing this for views, and you see the toxic environment that creates. We see so many people, mainly overseas, I would say, take it to the extreme. They go to the supermarket, grab milk, toss it on the floor, take things, prank people, and all of that stuff, of course, is, you want to watch it. You're like, oh, is this actually happening? But it's really just to create, that sort of controversy and let people shock factor. And so how do you balance that?
It's a challenge. It's not a new challenge now. I mean, people have been doing this sort of controversial thing on TV for a while as well. I guess the most important thing is, why are you making content? It really comes down to your why. Now, for you, you're making content for yourself. Then I wouldn't have much more advice for you. I'd be like, cool, keep doing what you're doing. As long as you enjoy it, that's fine. But if you're coming to me and saying, like, I need more views, I want to get sponsorships, or I want to promote my new product, then you're going to have to start making some small sacrifices. But you've still got to stay true to yourself. I think sort of like an 80-20 split is good. 80% is still very much you, and that 20% is towards your goal, which may or may not align with your own personal values. But I've seen so many creators that say, I want to be a YouTuber or a TikToker to be famous or to get 1 million views or whatever. And I'm like, okay, most people I know that are successful did not have that goal.
Right.
And I think that's going to be more of a problem, because I think they did like some research and like what the most wanted jobs that kids have now is a YouTuber or an influencer of some sort. And I think a lot of those people are going to be in for a very big surprise. Yeah. A bit of a shock.
Right.
So if your goal is, like for me, it was like, I want to get on Taiwanese TV. And ultimately it worked. Yeah. I was able to get onto a show back in the day called 请问你是哪里人? I didn't get invited back on. Which then was my next challenge, to get onto a show that I'll get invited back onto. Which now I'm with WTO GMA Hui.
Yes, there we go.
I finally completed my goal.
Yeah.
But what is the purpose in that time? Right now, I make content because I want to learn about it, so I can teach other people. If I get views or not, that doesn't really matter. And even like a lot of businesses right now, you don't need the views. You need the right views. Yeah. And I see people that are just getting less than 1,000 views who are getting, making a lot of money because they're finding the right clients coming to them and doing their business. So honestly, it depends. What's your goal? What's your purpose? What's your why? I'm following from there.
Yeah, I agree. That the why part is it's going to be your core. And from there outflow how and the reasons. And now with the content space, what would you then define as success? Because like you said, I absolutely agree with you where I don't think it's down to just the views, although views gives you more of a two-leg to stand on to be like, well, I have, let's say 30,000 followers, right? Like, so they're like, oh, so he does have influence because today's currency is attention.
Yes.
But how do we define success in this social media space?
So one thing that's actually less important right now is followers. A lot of brands don't know this yet, but they're going to be catching up on it. You can have 1,000 followers and get 1 million views. You can have 1 million followers and get 1,000 views.
Yeah.
The two are no longer connected.
Right.
And it's all down to the TikTokification of social media, so TikTok brought in the For You page. And the For You page was a brand new concept. Instead of bringing you to your subscriber page, which YouTube and Instagram did, and somewhat still do, it now brought you to this page of just recommendations. So people were going on TikTok, scrolling, and never checking out what their followers are doing because everything was just fed to them. So now you notice a lot more on Instagram. They got rid of the timeline algorithm. You can see content from weeks ago. You can see content from yesterday. You see content from people you don't follow. And that's just the natural order of things. Instead of trusting that this particular content creator is always going to make content suitable for that person, they're now cherry picking. Okay, this person you follow, they made a video which I don't think you'll like, so you're not going to see it. However, this person you don't follow, I think you're really going to like this one. Ultimately, the goal of platforms is to keep you on there. If anything takes you away from their platform, whether it be a bad piece of content, an external link, or just some sort of interruption, that is a negative to them. So if you are a content creator, the best thing you can do is keep them on the platform in some way or another. So attention for the platform is just really keeping you on the platform, and attention for the viewer is just making good content.
Well, so, okay, even in that space, it's sort of dangerous in many ways too, because I think, yes, social media can be a great thing. Yes, you can be on and you can watch amazing things happening, people creating amazing content, but also there is this effect of the kids are calling like brain rot, right? Like where you go on in TikTok and you do get hooked and hours pass by and you're like, what have I just done with my life? And then also you don't quite remember, the 2 videos ago what you just watched. So how do we then sort of balance with that, right? Being a content creator yourself, like how would you sort of define that for yourself? Or even being a dad, how would you want your child to sort of find that balance? Because you don't want them to live in a bubble where there's no social media, but also then you don't want them to just be scrolling. So how do we strike that balance? I think that's really a big topic.
This is something I'm still trying to work on myself. I've used apps on my phone. The one app, I don't remember this name, but every time I open Instagram, it comes up and I can't close it and it says, take a breath. Did you really want to open this? And this bar goes up and down as you take a breath. And then you have to select how long you want to be on the app for. And after that amount of time, it will just close itself. Which is great because I'm one of those persons that goes, okay, I need to send an Instagram message. I open Instagram. Oh, what's that?
Yes. All of us.
Half an hour later, I've closed the app.
You're like, what was it?
I need to send that message. So that gives me a moment to be very intentional. And if I know the message is going to take 2 minutes, then it closes the app after 2 minutes. So even if I did get distracted, 2 minutes later, it's reminding me. So there's things you can put in place which do work, but I'm still figuring this out. And I too also have an issue with just social media taking up too much of our lives, not even just mine. This desire to keep checking on things. I've muted almost all notifications except for like my main messaging apps. And I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. I think it's a dangerous space to get addicted to. I don't know what's going to happen or change to make this better, unfortunately.
No, I think this is a journey that we're all on, but I do appreciate other apps like you described where people do make an intentional effort in making sure that either I'm consciously there's one where they say, you turn all the colors into black and white, and then it's less appealing because again, there's so much psychology behind content making that the littlest things that you don't realize is keeping you hooked. And so even turning it black and white, scrolling through things, you might just be like, oh, I don't find it as appealing. But I do think it is more of it's dealing more with like a human rooted issue really in that like we do have that drive. We do have, why do people gamble all the time? There is a slot machine kind of like with the content creation too. But I think the important thing ultimately then comes down to, what is the purpose of the content that we're making. And I do appreciate that you're taking the approach of, like it's something I want to discover, experiment, try, and then also like learn and grow and influence and positively influence people. Because that's ultimately, I think, one of the things I try to do too when I make content is to inspire people. Because it's a beautiful thing, right? It's a two-edged sword where social media can be something that's so powerful that brings attention to people that like, hey, we didn't know this was an issue. Hey, we didn't know that. And now, news can be spread and awareness can be raised. But at the same time, it can be something that gives you brain rot.
But again, it's not a new thing we're dealing with. Again, it's happened with TV and the radio and cartoons and whatnot. I would like to add on the story of inspiration. Inspiring people has always been one of my main drivers. If I get a video with low views that has like that one comment that said how much that video meant to them, then that is like a gold standard video. It's so good. Right. So with the series I did with picking up the trash, this one kid, high school kid, messaged me and saying, I love the videos. Can I do the same thing? Wow. And I was like, absolutely. Like, I don't own this. And I said to him, in fact, I'm going to be your first follower. So then I went on, I followed him. He started posting videos. Every video he posted, like the first 5 videos, I shared them all to my Instagram story. Wow. Some of my followers ended up following him. Now he's on like 20,000 followers and he gets 100,000 views per video of him picking up rubbish with his friends. He even went to Hawaii and did like the whole...
to help with the
helping out and stuff. Cool. And he's like just documenting it. It's not a perfect video. And he's like, I'm struggling with editing and stuff. And I'm like, you're doing great. And he just seems like such a thoughtful, kind kid. And people are sending him donations now. And he's got a tracker where he shows where he spends the donations to like collect rubbish bags and whatever tools that he needs for it. And it's like, we're making the right people popular, and it's giving people a platform. It gives the wrong people a platform as well. It again with all kinds of attention and platforms. It works both ways.
Right. It's a hammer, right? And you can use it to build or destroy. And so I think it's cool to have people that says that encourage other people, and similarly to what you're doing and what you've been saying. And so maybe lastly, if you wanted to encourage another the younger minds, people that are getting into content, or even older people, I guess, like, people who, because it's another thing that's amazing is that social media is not just only for, let's say, the teens or
it really isn't,
right?
And like it's bringing our ages closer. We can relate much more to a 12-year-old. As a 37-year-old, I can relate to some things that a 12-year-old does.
Right.
That 20 years ago, 12-year-old and a 37-year-old will be
nothing
worlds
in common.
Apart.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. But what would you then, what would be an advice probably coming from the content creation side?
I think if you want to be a content creator, you need to discover what do you naturally like sharing or doing. And if you don't know that, then go ask your friends. What are you talking about naturally with your friends or your family? If someone came and sat next to you on a bench, what would like make you excited to have a conversation about? Because that's the stuff you can just pick up a phone and talk about the same thing, the same way that I did when I was talking to other parents about the way that I want to raise my kids. I was like, well, why not just talk about that online? And people might hate it, people might love it, you might not get any views, it doesn't matter. This is about not only just putting your opinion out there, but also just exploring your own opinions. By actually voicing them out loud, you can find out a lot more. And then the second thing is just don't compare yourselves. You're always going to compare yourself to the successful people out there. And you've already said it, a lot of content creation is fake. There was a great video. There's a woman in China that's a big influencer, and she's made friends with other influencers. And it turns out she was actually going to her influencer friends stealing their luxury items and replacing it with fake ones.
Ooh.
Just so that she can keep up the image of having these luxury items. And it only was found out when one woman was like, "Oh, why is my bag fake now?"
Yeah.
She contacted her other friends. It turns out she'd been cheating all these people for like 5 years to keep up pretenses, and people were shocked. It's like, this person appears perfect online. It was actually stealing from her friends.
Yeah.
And now like she's probably in the worst time of her life. That's a really bad place to be in.
Right.
We talked about this line, buying stuff you can't afford to impress people you don't care about. It's hard. We're going to be comparing ourselves. That's what we do as human beings.
Yeah, true.
But just do what feels right to you and do what you enjoy. If you do that, you can't go wrong with content creation.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the advice and some of the insights. And I do hope that, if other people are looking, and I think because it's become more of a viable option now, people are, especially the younger generation, are trying to now explore that. But I do hope, and I hope that people will recognize that there is, that we still have to bring our humanity onto that as well. Because online, it's so easy, just a screen, just numbers. You're just always thinking about how can I capitalize on those things. But I do hope that people recognize, there's still a face behind that. And again, trying to keep up with people that you're trying to impress, that don't like you, that you don't care about, like that's the end of it, right? That's so true, because at the end of the day, one comment can really, really impact you in a positive way or negative way.
Yeah.
And so we all have influence.
When you get a sea of positive comments and that one negative comment, that's the one you're going to be thinking about, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So really thinking about the output that we have as well, not just the videos that we make, but the comments we put on other people's social media.
Yeah, man, we all have influence. Whether it's 5 people, 50,000, 5 million, like it's all important. So yeah, thanks a lot again for sharing. If people were to try to find you, or if they also want to learn more about content stuff, like where can they?
Yeah, you can follow me, James Wong Life, LIFE, all platforms. You can find me.
All right. Well, thank you so much, James.
Thank you.
And if you did miss again the last episode where we talked about the parenthood, and then also it comes to social media, be sure to check that out. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye, guys.